Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be speaking about the 1901 Morgan silver dollar, going over everything you might want to know about it. It's already a pretty rare coin, but we'll be discussing some of the scarcities, the rare varieties, or VAMs, where you can look really closely, even on already graded coins, to see if the coin's worth much more than you might expect it to be. We'll discuss some of the proofs and the story behind them, the specific history on this date, why it became such an expensive coin, especially in mint state, and sort of the history as it relates to coins and silver at the point in which it happened. And then we'll also talk about proof-like and deep mirror proof-like coins. So let's get right into the video. A lot of info in the presentation. So let's get right into it. These 1901 Morgan dollars came towards the end of the 1878 to 1904 and 1921 Morgan dollar years that it was minted. They started as an effort to put a little inflation in the economy by using silver to coin a ton of dollars that would just help sort of the little man and the farmers and wage earners that had seen depression for ever since basically the Civil War. That ends up getting increased after the Sherman Silver Purchase Act in 1890, but gets cut back later on again. 1898, Congress wants any of the remaining silver from the Sherman Purchase Act all coined, so it gets coined out through 1904, but there's very little demand for these, so a lot of them end up getting melted, and that's what we see here. It's the rarest mint state behind the 1895 Morgan dollar. Some of these entered circulation at the time that they were produced, but a lot of these would have been melted to fulfill the Pittman Act. In 1921, there are a ton of new Morgan dollars produced. Well, a lot of those were being made to fulfill contracts that the states had done with Great Britain to help them have a fair amount of silver in their economy, and these are one of the rarities that emerged from that. Collectors also really focused on proof strike coins, which we'll get into. They're not like super collectible back then, maybe 10-20 cents over the dollar face value, but people really ignored the circulation strike as a result. And a lot of the other dates would have 1,000 coin bags emerge from the treasury that were given out at, a little bit more sometimes than a dollar coin, but often right sort of at the face value. And when none of these 1,000 coins bags came out, 1901 was realized as a rarity by the 60s. A lot of the mint state coins are not in great shape. Strike and luster aren't good, and there are also a fair amount of bag marks from the coins hitting each other in the bags. So there's only a few in mint state 65 and 66, like I'm talking 2, 3, or 4, and as a result, you can see the cost. It might be a $55 coin as compared to a $25 or $30 coin in a fine grade, so not crazy, but when you get to mint state, it's a 12,000 coin in mint state 63 as opposed to your generic Morgan being a little bit under $100, climbs to 300,000 in mint state 65, where the cheapest ones are probably more like $200, not 200,000, even though there are 6.9 million of these made. So a really good one to be on the lookout for. There's also some VAMs where if you're looking close, you might be able to find some of these. The shifted eagle kind of appears doubled all through the tail feathers, the lower wings. I mean, you can see people are paying a lot. VG8, people paying $300 instead of $50, and massive disparities at the lower mint state level. There's also the doubled ear, which also has a doubled eyelid, but you can see a little bit of a spread in the ear. That one seems quite a bit less sort of valuable, not much premium there. And these are just the VAMs from the hit list 40, Hot 50 and Top 100, which are certifiable at PCGS. The doubled wing and arrows a little bit in the tips of the wing, along with the arrow tip, especially sort of in that, I don't know how I would put that, but where the arrow is showing right there. And there's also another doubled ear that looks pretty similar with some same thing, doubled eyelid. Let me just make sure. Yeah, those are different pictures. I was worried for a little bit. And then there's also a few mint errors. Couldn't find any from 1901, but wanted to just go over a few die adjustment strikes. These occur when there's pressure applied to the dies to find exactly how hard you should strike the coins. And in the process of doing that, they have some where the pressure is improper. And so this is an example of one of those coins. Sometimes you can get double struck coins that flipped over in the collar instead of getting ejected. And you can see some of the sort of remnants of that in the lettering. That looks like states right there. Let's see, it's tough to see Morgan, the obverse, but maybe a little bit in the hair right there. So you can see this, and somebody discovered this on a 1901, it would be enormously valuable. And then this is a nice struck off center. Most of these have been found and they're quite expensive for the Morgans. In terms of the proofs, this one's gorgeous, but 813 of the proofs have been minted. The values are sometimes cheaper, or almost always cheaper, for the proofs compared to the mint state, just because of the collectors going after the proofs and ignoring the mint state ones here. But they're still pretty high. And then the proof-like or deep mirror proof-like coins are almost none. Often they're, that's where they're early struck coins, fresh off the new dies, would have like frosty devices, or like the Morgan's bust and the eagle, and then they would have sort of mirrory fields. And there's so few mint state ones that these get really expensive. The one on the deep mirror proof like is pretty ugly here. Mint State 61 still sold for $30,000, but you're probably not going to come to this video if you have a 1901 proof like or deep mirror proof like. Probably going somewhere else. But I say, hey, you can find these in all sorts of conditions, especially the shifted eagle. So always check those 1901s, even if it's already certified. You never know what you might come away with. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like the video, comment, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. And I also have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and some other social media platforms. You can also go to my main channel website, treasuretownYT.com, to learn more about the channel and sort of stay in contact. I also will eventually host all of these videos on coinsmetalscards.com, which will be both news, marketplace, and coin information. I do have the goal of eventually getting pretty much every US coin, date, mint mark, denomination on the channel with a similar video to the one that you just watched, and that will likely all be hosted there. And then I also have treasuretowncoins.com, which is sort of my coin dealing wing, coin dealing only entity that is a little bit less focused on content production. So thank you so much, and I'll look forward to seeing you on some of my other videos. I also have videos that are not just the date, mint mark, denomination recap in this format, so you can check some of those out, and I'll have fun seeing you there.